everyone. Welcome to the What's Amanda Wondering podcast, episode 2. If you've been here for episode 1, you'll know that no, I am not a 70-year-old smoker who has been smoking for all 70 years straight out of the womb. I am, in fact, a 23-year-old female. I just have lost my voice recently. It's starting to make its way back to me. So you guys, okay, I am just so excited to talk about something with you all, and I talked about it on my Instagram yesterday and with a close friend of mine. Fitness and fun. I want to talk about how I feel like we need to reanalyze our mindset when talking to people about getting into a fitness journey, right? We talk about how it is a journey, and we always say, oh, have fun on the journey, but no one talks about how to do that. How can you make getting fit when you haven't been fit? How can you make getting into things that are uncomfortable fun? So I just kind of want to talk about the perspective that I was thinking of yesterday that really made me happy. Fitness can be seen as, in my opinion, and it should be seen as a hobby, right? It should be seen as a new and interesting hobby. For example, and this is the example I used on my Instagram post just the other day. I was talking about how some people out there love makeup, right? Maybe a person is looking at TikTok and they're on makeup TikTok and it's just popping up and popping up and popping up. And you know, as an individual may not have taken action in dabbling in makeup before, but you're thinking, okay, it's piquing your curiosity. You're like, maybe I'll do that. That curiosity right there. Then say you're shopping around at a grocery store. You go to Target for all the cute Halloween and spooky season snacks and decorations, right? As you're walking around, you see a Halloween palette, right? Maybe you see a Halloween makeup palette. You see some kind of makeup item that you're like, oh, you know what? And your interest makes you excited to take action. So you take action by purchasing a palette. You're like, you know what? I'm just going to try it. I'll dive in. And you go home and you play. What do you do when you get something new? Or like something like that, right? You go home and you play with it. People will go home and they'll do fun little makeup looks. Maybe that person goes home and looks up YouTube tutorials and just sits there practicing with the YouTube tutorial, right? It is building and slowly but surely into that hobby. I like to think of fitness in a similar sense, right? I have this passion, and if you're someone who's wanting to get into fitness, this is like when I was first getting into fitness, having the interest was outweighed by the intimidation of the aesthetic results, not only that I wanted to see, but that we're surrounded by. Fitness culture and health culture is so aesthetic oriented, which is not a bad thing, but it's also very important to realize that makes it difficult for someone when you tell them, oh, just do it for you, just do it for your health. Yes, I can do it for my health, but I'm seeing everyone else who's also just done it for their health, but they have a crazy different physical look than one may, right? I mean, I've got a little role, but I'm not going to shoot myself short. I've put a lot of effort into the gym, so I do have these physical results. And, I got a big old onion booty that'll make the boys cry. But that also being said, I can and should acknowledge, and I think it's so important for people who especially have been exercising and feel like they have these results to acknowledge, it is so much more intimidating for people who don't. And that's why it's not easy, and you can't just tell someone who's wanting to get into fitness, just do it, just go, push through the intimidation, the gym intimidation. No, that's why I want to talk about this today, because if you find a way to be more curious than intimidated, I find that so much more motivating. I find that so much more so much easier to wrap one's head around, instead of just saying push through, instead of just saying, oh, well, get over it. It feels very much so like a lot of people in the fitness industry will just say, you just have to do it. I think that's a very sly way of saying just get over it. And I do not like saying that. I do not like that. You can't just tell somebody that, in my opinion. So having fun with it and adding curiosity and learning about it in the sense of learning about an interest, I really just, again, wanted to talk about that today. And I think that's something that really helps people get excited for themselves in a way that, again, pushes over the intimidation. Going back to the makeup example, I wanted to talk a bit more about that. So say this person's gotten this palette and they're like, oh my gosh, it's been maybe a few days, maybe a few weeks. They've been looking up different videos and trying and playing with this. And then they're in the store again. It's been like a few weeks just having fun. then when they're in the store, they see a really, really cool bronzing palette, right? They haven't done anything with contour, no face makeup, none of that, but they see that bronzing palette and they've seen some small things as they've practiced with the eyeshadow, right? They've seen small things about that, but they've just been sticking to what they're used to. Now, after doing that for, again, a few days, few weeks, they see this, they're like, you know what? Maybe I'll just try it. Maybe I'll just shoot for it. And if I don't like it, I don't like it. If I do, I do. I just want to maybe try this next part of this interest and hobby. That is an example of that genuine curiosity and that playful attitude, that having fun with it, that piquing and motivating and helping take away from the intimidation of a new hobby or skill. It's literally, it feels as if learning an interest or skill or a hobby is fun again. And it feels like we don't talk about fitness in this sense, but it genuinely is a fun hobby that you can find tiny things like that to enjoy. So for example, that might have been eyeshadow palette first for the makeup example, and then the bronzing palette. In the gym, you may have gone in and you may have just walked on the treadmill, and you know what? Hell yes, you walked on that treadmill and then you did it again and you did it again, maybe once or twice a week. Maybe then you got up to like 2 to 3 times a week, and as you're walking, you're like, you're just noticing the stuff around you, being aware of the surroundings, just kind of getting used to it. And you're seeing somebody walk over to dumbbells, or you saw that person pull down on something. Oh, that's kind of cool. That looks like it'd be fun. Like a little monkey swinging from the bars. Or is anybody else on Brittany Broski's Broski Report? Just absolute, totally off topic. But anytime I think about a monkey sound, I think about Brittany Broski now. She's ruined me. Oh, it's so funny. Okay. If you don't know what I'm talking about, look it up on TikTok or YouTube, wherever. Look up Broski Report, Brittany Broski, monkey sounds. She is here for all of us feral horn dog girlies, like horned up girlies that read a bunch of books that are phallic and probably do not need to be read. Okay, anyway, I digress. Back to the example. Like the palette motivated them to continue having fun and interest in the bronzing, the gym, you might see this, and that fun inspires you to pull that bar down. You're like, okay, maybe next time I'll try that. And even if you don't do it next time, that thought in your head, maybe the next time you're there, you'll be like, okay, I didn't do it today, but maybe next time I'll do that. And the more you do what you're used to, the more small things you see yourself possibly doing. And the more things you see yourself possibly doing, the more likely you are to do them in the future, if that makes sense. So I really feel so passionately about this. I feel like the fun aspect is what makes the consistency add up over time. A lot of people are also intimidated by the fact that you don't, when you go to the gym, it's very different than, again, buying a makeup palette. The makeup palette, ignore the truck going by. I live by the interstate. If you guys are listening, you're listening for my knowledge and my inspiration and voice. So the truck is just going to have to be there. But I was saying, I feel so passionately about the idea of exploring versus viewing it as something to take on, viewing it as something to have to do, viewing it as I have to get myself back into shape. It's more so, how can I figure out a way to learn this new hobby in the most enjoyable way possible? When I was in high school, just a little background on my own fitness journey. When I was in high school, actually not even high school, in middle school, I joined the softball team for the community league. I joined the basketball team for the community league, and I did not like any of it. It really freaked me out because I just realized that none of these sports are actually enjoyable to me. And then suddenly I found MMA, and I fought Muay Thai for about 5 years, and then I broke my leg getting ready for a cage fight. Now, when I broke that MMA, literally going from the softball, etc., I was trying these things and did not like them, to I had so much fun throwing fists. I did. I really had so much fun. It built my confidence. I felt like I had this, and I still kind of do, right? I don't fight anymore. I practice, right? I train boxing, but I have this, what feels like secret, like this little key in my pocket that builds my confidence, that I know I can at least handle myself in some type of way in some situations, right? That confidence was what made me even more excited. And at the same time, it was fun. It was fun learning the movements. It was fun executing the movements, and it just clicked with my head, it just clicked with my brain. And I'm so grateful that I continued trying different sports, because I was very, very, I was just not down on myself, but I was concerned that I wasn't going to be like all the other kids. And I'm not, in the sense of, it wasn't even like a school sport. It was me just doing that. I trained with a bunch of, there was maybe one adult woman, and then I trained with a bunch of older dudes who were all so nice. And they were like brothers, father figures, whatever you want to say. They helped me learn and have fun in a safe environment. And I want you guys to know that while just like in that environment, there were the opportunity for there to be mean people, creepy people, etc., there were so many more supportive individuals that I felt intimidated by first, that I realized they're there to have my back. And not only there to have my back, but they're doing the exact same thing as I am at a different stage in their life, which adds a certain level of respect on both ends. If you go to the gym and you're like, oh, I don't look like someone who's at the gym, just know that's not something that other people are judging you for. That's something people respect you for. Let's shift that narrative, okay? If I see someone in the gym that, maybe is new, or I haven't seen in my gym a lot, I'm like, oh my gosh, I wonder if this person's starting out a fitness journey. And then I'm like, holy shit, I know how difficult that is. And like we've been talking about today, it's not about just pushing through. There's a lot of intimidation there. There's a lot of fear, a lot of anxiety, and rightfully so. And you're valid in feeling that way. If you're somebody who feels invalidated by that, let me just go ahead and say you are valid in feeling those fears, and you are still respected in a way you don't even understand. I have so much admiration for people making the effort through those fears, more so than any type of judgment. And I can almost guarantee you, I can't say guarantee you because there are not nice people out there, but I can almost guarantee you any consistent person that is in the gym is going to be the same way. They're going to feel the same way. And they're going to just have this sense of pride for a person, right? The idea that one is being judged, I hope again we can shift to the idea that one is being shown and admired, and not in a creepy way, but admired for the willpower to go and to push through. And I know I said I don't like that word, but to show up, right? Just to show up when you maybe haven't before. So kudos to any of you for that. And showing up in a sense of like at home, whatever it may be, that is totally, however you can show up is how you should show up. And I'm so, so proud of you if no one has said anything for wanting to, even just wanting to. I think there was a study done that showed the human body's intention, right? So your brain, if you have a thought and you think, oh, I want to go to the gym, that intention alone makes changes to energy around us at the speed, or faster than the speed of light. Faster than the speed of light. I need to find that study and I'll maybe put it in the description. But it was some kind of prize that was given to these quantum physicians. And I remember reading about this thinking, oh my gosh, that makes so much sense, because you have individuals who said, and they think to themselves, wow, I should go to the gym, but it's tiring. I should do this and that. But that carries momentum. That type of thought does, now scientifically proven, carry momentum. And whatever momentum you create mentally is the momentum that is going to change the energy around you and create the energy around you. And so if your momentum is instead, I would really feel better if I went to the gym, or it'd be cool if I was one of those people that went to the gym, just thinking it would be cool if I was this person, that idea is going to, like I said before, like if you show up on the treadmill, you just see the people around you. That thought process is similar to that. It's literally showing up mentally. Showing up mentally is having those thoughts. It's not even having, but creating those thoughts. It's not going to come naturally to everybody. It's not. I mean, there are people out there that have gone through certain scenarios that have conditioned their minds to think a certain way. That is why showing up is not just showing up at the gym. It's not just showing up in your kitchen. It is showing up by the way you allow yourself to think and allow yourself to speak. And this doesn't mean to be hard on yourself for when those thoughts do come, because they're going to, especially if that's your natural state of mind, by no fault of your own even, or maybe by fault of your own, who knows. But that doesn't mean you are not doing well or not showing up when they come. That is the moment when they do come, when those do come, that is the moment when you're showing up. It's addressing that thought is there and then actively making an effort to think a different thought, right? I know some people, it's crazy to my brain. Comment below if you don't have an inner dialogue. But I just noticed my little Rose. I love her. She keeps me warm. Anyway. I think it's wild that some people's inner dialogue doesn't exist. From what I understand, some people do not have, like right now, if I had a grocery list, apples, oranges, bananas, I could close my eyes, not even close my eyes, I could think. And I just heard the words apples, oranges, and bananas in my own brain. Like, it is my active thinking, clearly. But does that make any sense? That is my inner dialogue. Like when you're thinking through things, that is a type of inner dialogue, and you are able to speak in your inner dialogue the same way you can make a choice to speak in with your mouth, like with your words, right? Speaking is an action. Right now I'm saying hello. I'm making the effort to say hello. In my mind, I can make an effort to say, good morning, Amanda. You're going to do great today. Even if it's not a natural, it's not a natural optimism, that is effort. It's not forced in a way that's like, oh, it's fake, it's forced. It is forced in a way that, yeah, you forced yourself to think that. You showed up. Walking to the gym, you could say you're forcing yourself to go to the gym. I'm like speaking over myself because I'm so excited about this. You are forcing yourself to show up, yes, but that is showing up. That is effort. Forcing yourself can also be seen as effort, and nobody should ever have any type of shame over mental effort, making that mental effort and having those hurdles to jump over. And just mental effort in general is also so respectable. If I hear somebody, for me, for example, I'll walk around, and if I'm having a hard day, I'll be like, oh, man, I can't believe that happened. And as soon as I hear myself say that, I say, but I'm going to make sure today's going to be a good day. And people around me be like, oh my gosh, that's so cheesy, this and that. It's cheesy because it works, and it's cheesy because I will do it consistently if it means making myself feel good. And it's cheesy because I'm cheesing. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to be cheesing. I'm trying to be cheesy. I love cheese. Queso, shredded, melted from the fridge, from the pack. When I was in middle school in 4th grade, shout out to my friend Grace. I think her name was, I can't remember if she's going by something else. I always get so concerned using people's wrong names, but a friend who was going to middle school with me at the time, her mom had a dream, and dream accomplished, to open a flower shop. And the mom, for my birthday, made me, per my friend's request, made me a Easter basket, or like a floral basket, whatever, like a basket of cheese and beef jerky. I'm so serious, y'all. I'm so serious, y'all. It was probably the best gift I've ever received. Oh my God, it was so great. I showed up. I rode the bus. My friend didn't. I showed up, and it was sitting outside my door. And there were literal like blocks of cheese on the bottom, and there were like bags of jerky, and then the Slim Jims like tied to the hand. You guys, okay, my mom came home that day. She said, who went to the store? Where did all this cheese come from? And I said, do not touch my dairy. Hands off my dairy, mother. Anyway, I've never called my mother. I've never called my mom mother. Sorry, Mom, if you're watching this, love you. And love you to my friend's mom and to my friend. That is like a core memory for me. Anyway, I feel like we should embrace the idea of being cheesy, because a lot of times what we've considered cheesy is only called cheesy because of how often we hear it. And maybe we hear things so often because there's something to hear. Like there's something to it, I will never discount anyone who says something, or I'll never discount something because it is quote unquote cheesy. Plus, me personally, I feel like I am a bit of a cheesy individual. This entire podcast right here, the What's Amanda Wondering podcast, could be considered very cheesy because of my hyper optimistic attitude, and it's not going to be everyone's cup of tea. Just like certain sports aren't everyone's cup of tea, just like certain this and that isn't everyone's cup of tea. I want you guys I'm like rambling now, but I want you guys to know that I'm so grateful for whoever's sipping on the cup of tea. That is me. And I just hope that I was making at least a little bit of sense whenever I was talking about fitness and fun. I feel like fun being the key to fitness, if that makes any sense. Having fun and treating it like a new, exciting, interesting hobby where, yeah, it's a little scary because it's new, But that's what also kind of makes it so exciting. I just really hope I'm making some sense there. So I hope everybody else has a great rest of your day. That's pretty much all I wanted to say. Let me talk my shit again. And that's, I guess, the end of today's episode, the second episode of the What's Amanda Wondering podcast. Bye, guys.